Hi, Cultivators. Director of Content, Jaylon here with the amazing poet, Resil. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed to be breathing.
Yes, I'm blessed to be sitting here in your presence. You are one of the amazing poets here in the Houston area that I have been just so grateful to hear and just hear your knowledge. So tell us what you do, why you do it, and how you do it.
Man, so, I do spoken word and poetry, but at the same time, I really grew up in hip hop and rap, basically. So I pride myself as a lyricist. Why I do it, man, is always like self-reflection as far as like getting myself out. Like this music and lyricism and poetry is the easiest way for me to get my thoughts out.
Right.
Okay. Like, it's kind of hard for me to do it, like say talking one-on-one, but like I could write it down, I could spit it, and I could fully express myself through that.
Right.
So I've always used it to fully express myself, and at the same time, I perform it, I let it go, I put it in books and do everything because there's people out there who need to be related to.
Right.
There's a lot of people who feel like they doing things on their own, and they might think something is driving them crazy. Am I the only one going crazy? It's like, no, you are not. You are not the only one going crazy.
I'm going crazy too.
Yeah. Like we're all going crazy. We're all a little crazy. So yeah, so I definitely do it as well so people can relate to my story.
Okay. And you said that you had an upbringing in hip hop and other muses. So what is some great source of inspiration for you in your poetry?
Man, my first album that I remember was Late Registration with Kanye West. Mm-hmm. So early Kanye West was a big inspiration for me.
Okay.
Lil Wayne, Ludacris, a lot of the Southern artists, but I would say those are the main. T.I., those are like the main 3 and 4 that I listened to a lot and got a lot of my inspiration from.
Okay.
As far as, poetry, that pretty much everything stemmed from hip hop, and I branched out into other things. Even with rock, like listening to rock came from hip hop. What's the word? Like hip hop samples.
Okay.
That sampled rock music, and I got into rock from there. So pretty much I started at hip hop and just branched out into a whole bunch of other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I have been grateful to talk to so many poets, and I'm learning all the different type of genres of poetry. So what type of genre of poetry are you affiliated in?
I think I definitely, as well, come from hip hop. I definitely have more of a flow.
Okay.
With poetry, more rhyme schemes. Definitely, I have a lot more energy. Mm-hmm. I'm usually a calm person, like I said. In person, people think I'm like calm, boring. But like if I get on stage, I'm a whole different.
You're a whole different story.
Yeah,
You're a showcase.
Yeah. So,
okay.
And like I said, that's how I get my energy out.
Okay.
So yeah, it's definitely more energetic. I would say definitely more sharp. I try to stick to. Usually, I'm talking about love or finding love or overcoming something, as far as just like a lot of self-reflection, a lot of you can do this, a lot of you got this, a lot of ain't nothing stopping you type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often are you hitting the stage when it comes to your poetry, your craft?
Man, I actually wish I'm doing it more. I've been on stage since like 2008.
Okay.
Like a long time of like just being on stage, music and poetry wise. Mm-hmm. But sometimes life gets in the way and everything, and just trying to figure out a lot of things life wise. So a lot of times I got to put it on the back burner. But
on the back burner,
I definitely want to put it back in the front in some way.
Okay.
More music.
More
music wise, yeah.
So I was able to see you perform. I say perform seriously because this man performed. I was able to see you perform at Approach the Mic, hosted by Rochelle Gemini a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
And you did your poetry with music as well, correct?
Yeah. Well, the poetry I did at Approach the Mic was the heart. Mm-hmm. And that was actually a verse that was conversed to a poet, a poem, right? So that's what a lot of because I actually wrote that to a beat first. And then what I do is, with poetry and spoken word, you can take your time, and you're encouraged to take your time. So in music, you got certain bars that you got to fit stuff into. So what I usually do is because I used to do theater too. So I put some theatrics into it. I put different tones. I slow it down. I make sure there's certain pauses and certain stuff, just to make it a spoken word performance rather than me just rapping on stage.
Right.
Yeah, and I had to learn that because even like in my early days, I was just rapping on stage.
And was that good? What made you stop and be like, oh, let me do it a little differently?
Actually, looking at different other poets and seeing how they did their spoken word, I'm like, oh, they really put a lot of theatrics into it. There's a lot of power, a lot of impact. And if I'm just sitting up there rapping, it's like, okay, that's cool behind a beat, but through acapella, it's like, okay, what's the impact in it?
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely wanted to work on making my spoken word more impactful.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of poetry, what are some things that you're currently working on?
Oh man, so I actually have a publishing business called Highest Caliber Publishing, where I publish mine and some other people's books as well. So I have 2 poetry books that I self-published, but I also have a book for first-generation college students.
Oh.
It's like a guide for their first year.
Okay, give us some more info about that.
Yeah, so I was a first-generation low-income college student. Okay. So I'm coming from where I come from in Galveston County, and I went to U of H, and I learned a lot about transforming into another culture, because it's definitely a culture shock coming from the hood to the college. So it's like, and I had people that helped me out as well, and I work in education myself.
Okay.
So I definitely have the information to be able to assist other students in, and it's not just like, oh, this is what GPAs are. This is like what happens when there's your mama can't pay her light bills, and you feel guilty because you at college eating food. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or you keep going back home because you don't feel safe or comfortable at your campus, or you can't find your role or something. So it's about a bunch of that other stuff that most first generation students will go through while on campus. And
so in the book, it's like a guide to people dealing with like guilt of leaving the hood and trying to do better for themselves while their family is still currently struggling.
Survivor's remorse, all that stuff. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else outside of publishing and poetry?
Man, I'm also one other book I'm working on. I'm trying to do a superhero fiction.
Okay.
Right now, I'm scared.
Why are you scared?
Because I can write about what I know, and I can write poetry about how I feel. But writing a story is different because you got to do character development. Yep. You got to do world building. You got to, figure out a story that makes sense. Make sure there's probably going to be plot holes and stuff like that. Right. But, you got to make sure it's airtight for the most. Okay. So I'm excited, but that's scary.
Is there any other entities or people that you're working with to help aid in building up that?
Honestly, not really. I do a lot of research online, and whoever I find that is also writing fiction, I try to network with them.
Okay. Well, this is a great time to outreach to those individuals out there that may...
Man, come talk to me. Come talk to me on my IG, The Real Resil. Come talk to me. I'm trying to connect for real.
Okay. So going outside of that, what can we look forward to seeing you in these upcoming days?
Oh, man. So there's definitely another Approach the Mic coming that I definitely want to get into. Bellard Entertainment has a few shows every month that I do. At Sense Cafe, it's like a cafe near the main Houston Community College in downtown. So I do that as well. And I think Pop Night is coming up with some things that I want to get involved with.
Okay. Yeah, so you have an array of things to be showcased in. Yeah. Definitely be staying in tune for the next upcoming Approach the Mic. I'm not going to spit a date out right now because it's not here. Yeah. But it definitely is online on our social medias. Check us out on Community Cultivation Network for the next upcoming Approach the Mic.
Absolutely. The last one was fire. So,
yes, it was. It was. How was your experience at that Approach the Mic?
Man, it was good. It felt comfortable. I like how like it wasn't like Rochelle says, it's not just like a spit and get. Like you get to learn about the poet a little bit, and I think getting to know someone makes their art so much more powerful.
It does.
Instead of just like a random slate person and then you just hear what they got to say or whatever. So I think that's real dope. And there was very dope poets that came out and did their thing. You know, we had a little music, we had some singing, you know, so it was fire. It was fire.
Okay, well, you seem like you have a lot going on for yourself, and of course, you want a lot more going on for yourself. So I love that about you. Is there something you'd like to tell the people out there as we wrap this up, like an inspirational message or something like that?
Oh man, you know, at the end of the day, I always just say I'm just blessed to be breathing, because there's a lot of times where, you know, I couldn't have been here, and there's times where, you know, there's scares and everything. So while I am here and I'm breathing and I'm here for a reason, I'm going to take advantage of that time, and I'm going to try to do and you know, I could focus on one thing and master that, but honestly, I got a whole bunch of things I want to do in life, a whole lot of goals. So, you know what I'm saying? If you got a whole lot of goals, just make sure you prioritize, straighten it out. You know, you don't just have it all in your head, because it's all going to jumble up along with life stresses and all that stuff. So write that stuff down, do mind maps, you know, figure it out and then attack it. Make a plan. Like they say with anything, I ain't gonna say, you know, stuff is your enemy, but you need to know your enemy. So know your plan, do your research, figure that stuff out, you know, and then attack.
Thank you. I love that. Absolutely. That's something I go through myself, of having so many ideas and not really taking the time to pinpoint and map and plan. Right. So definitely do that. Where can the people see more of you and your presence?
You can see me at The Real Resil Instagram. That's where I keep up with a lot of my stuff that I got going on. Also, I got a website, hgwriters.com. You can find some books there, some blogs, some poetry, some videos. YouTube, I'm working on doing YouTube a little bit. I'm building that, so we're going to wait on that. But
we're going to hold them accountable. We're going to put them accountable.
Yeah, I'm building that, so yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Resil, for sitting down with us here, joining us, and just getting us to know better of what you do, your poetry, and all that stuff.
Thank you.
And cultivators, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, this is Director of Content Jaylon here, and this has been a great conversation. Peace out, peoples.